Hi everyone and welcome. I already took my greens this morning. I took it bright and early. My coffee is something that I have not taken early this morning. And I need a boost. I still need a boost of energy because I got stuff to do tonight. My Lord, first week of school is a lot. So I'm frothing my coffee. Anyway, I actually don't have much to talk about, and today, actually, the only thing I do want to talk about, it's nice and frothed. A couple things is that it's always important to drink a lot of water, and to drink enough water for your system, and that's extremely important. But it's really important when you're doing your greens, when you're doing your wraps. Your wraps are extremely important. I highly suggest not doing it at night because of the fact that you have to drink and flush out your system so that you can have the best results. And so for the keto coffee too, in order for you to have the best results, you do need to drink a lot of drink a lot of water. So I have my nice little container full of water that I will be drinking. I mean, it's so hot in here that I just filled this with ice and it's like damn near water, right? So anyway, so I had a greatest talk. I have some really great friends from college, fraternity brothers, sorority sisters, and friends. And so today I had a great chat. And I just love seeing how we have all grown up into our respected professions. And, something that really sits strongly, and I've said this multiple different times, is that as much as the Black Lives Matter movement way back when started about police officers and not being given the same benefit of the doubt, I think what people are missing from the current Black Lives Matter movement is that, I mean, I don't, maybe it's just me, but I sincerely don't know in my lifetime that policing is going to really have a significant change. And so I that it's not to say that it's not important to me, but I do know that what can happen in my lifetime and what has to happen in my lifetime is better equity in regards to hiring practices, in regards to representation at all levels. And so that is something that Black Lives Matter movement has transformed. And I think that's the reason why it's taking hold and is so effective right now, is because, let's keep it real, people, we're tired of falling for the okie doke, and we are back in the realm of tokenism. And right now, just like my friend made a comment today while we were talking, it was just like, we're fighting for tokenism, and that is exactly what we're doing. It's pathetic in 2020 that tokenism is something that we are actually having to fight for. It's the same thing. It feels like the 70s when there was a rise in Black professors and in Black studies across the country because of the Black Power movement. And it feels like that we're in the same place again, because the thing is, once people were able to elevate into those spaces, they did not keep the foot on the gas, the net, keep everyone in gear to make sure that equity was consistently happening. And we are back to almost where we were in the 70s, and that's unfortunate. But I actually wanted to, and I know that everyone is talking about the Supreme Court case hearing today, because today's the last day of the Supreme Court, right? So I know that everybody's talking about the Supreme Court case in and analyzing the Supreme Court case about um, Donald Trump, right? I'm there. I get it. But I don't want to talk about Donald Trump. Primarily because if anybody thinks that he's going to hand over this is not Richard Nixon. So get that out your mind. Richard Nixon, he handed over the tapes and he resigned. This is not Richard Nixon. So scoosh to the side. If you think that Donald Trump is going to hand over his tax returns even within 30 days from now, it's going back to it will be going back to the lower court, and I'm sure they're going to find a way to try to do something. I get it. So this is not going to be the last stop, and I am fully aware of that. So therefore, next, I'm not wasting my time on that. And actually, the decision that came out is lock, stock, and rule of everything else, every other decision in regards to Bill Clinton, in regards to Richard Nixon. Like, all of this is the same. So this is not really a surprise. It's more of a surprise because Donald Trump didn't expect it. He's the only one in the room that didn't expect this decision. Anywho, I actually want to talk about the Native American one that nobody's talking about. Because the Native American decision that came out today, the Supreme Court, it was a 5-4 decision split on the side of the Native American. What people fail to realize is that Native American tribal land is not a part of the United States, technically. So, in essence, tribal land is a sovereign nation, and they're allowed to make their own laws, their own rules, their own prosecution, etc. Well, the problem has been is that there's a lot of, over the years, well, since they were given some of their own land, right? Since that actually happened, there has always, and I mean always, been a fight in regards to what it means to be a sovereign land, because they really don't want because America has been trying to find different ways to kind of take back the land, or to use the land, or to break their level of sovereignty. And so we see this with the pipe that was supposed to go over and through tribal land, and that fight that has been taking place for a very long time, and has finally ruled that you cannot do this. Finally, the courts were like, they've made decision after decision saying you can't do this, and finally the federal government is like, okay, maybe we can't do it. Think of how many people who protested. Think about how many people who disrupted their lives in regards to this. I mean, it's just pitiful. So, this decision actually is trying to give that level of sovereignty back. And you know, when I actually sat through and read it, I became even more distraught, because the beginning part of it actually is just talking about, oh, we're going to give, it's really about a guy who was arrested, and they were like, okay, well, we want to prosecute this person. It's like, but you arrested this guy on tribal land. You can't arrest the guy on tribal land and prosecute him. And so, and let's put a pause here and say that there's a lot of cases all up and through the tribal areas of high level of domestic violence issues, a high level of crimes against women, a high level of assaults. So nobody is saying anything about what Native Americans, that there are no Native Americans who commit crimes. That's not what this is about. This is about the sovereign nation. think of it this way. This is as if America just walks over into Canada and says, we're going to arrest this guy because this guy did something, and we're going to put him in American jail, and you're not going to talk to the country. You're not going to talk to Canada about extradition or anything. You're just going to come over, arrest the guy, take him back to America, prosecute him in America, and then if Canada has something to say, oh well. Like, that's not how it works. That's not how we treat sovereign nations. We work with the authorities of that nation and we deal with them. And for Native Americans, we don't want to give, America does not want to give Native Americans that level of respect. That's what this is about. And so what they even further described is the implications of this is that there are many people. It's not just one guy. There's a number of America is prosecuting a number of Native Americans who have been caught on Native American tribal land and trying to prosecute them and not going through the proper channels to work with the tribal communities. You can't do this. And that's what the Supreme Court is justifying. And then I think I'm even more flabbergasted that there are now that these certain states and federal government, especially in Oklahoma, which is what this was about, but there are certain states that are actually pressing towards trying to exact zoning fees and going along and trying to and on all areas, just not criminal, just zoning and everything, trying to eliminate their level of sovereignty. And you got to remember that even though this was not a part of the Cherokee tribe, you got to remember that many of the Native Americans in some of the tribal land in Oklahoma, they were forced there from a history of coming from Georgia. So these are descendants of people who are well aware of the criminal code, are well aware of, they had their own constitution, they had their own awareness of fighting and a history of fighting in the courts. It's like, how dare you just try to run over their sovereignty? I mean, it's just highly offensive. And the Supreme Court today made such a great decision to actually side with the treaties and the commitments that America made to these individuals and these tribes and these native lands for that they made to them decades ago. And it's a matter of, well, more than decades ago, but it's a matter that we have to honor the decisions that this country has gone into. We can't just ignore them based on convenience. And because it's easier to ignore them. But anyway, that's my little 2 cents about the Supreme Court. I mean, Supreme Court is done for the year, and we won't see them until, I think, November? So, unless there's an emergency that takes place. Looks like November is it. And, happy day. I know I need to do something for tomorrow. I have no idea what to talk about tomorrow. Granted, there's a lot of news that's taking place, but I'm really trying to spearhead focusing on, what would be useful to have a discourse on. But we shall see. I know that I know that there are some new shows that are coming out on Netflix to consider. So maybe if I have time today, because I definitely am doing some writing tonight, and getting some work done. So it's the end of the week. Lord, look. Don't I look exhausted? I am exhausted. Tomorrow's the last day of the week, and I have my last class. It's a short day tomorrow. And just one shameless plug: El Camino College, Kids College is happening. They are continuing with their 20% off, and it's really cool. My daughter's going to start doing, well, currently I'm teaching the high school essay, and then we're going to be teaching something else. We're teaching the next classes is I think grammar. I don't remember. And then we have I'm not teaching. I'm teaching high school stuff, but they have everything up to somebody who's going to be going into first grade. So there's a 20% off. So it should be about $150, $160 per class for 2 weeks, which is not bad, especially when they're 2.5 hour classes. And the kids are great. The faculty is great. Everyone is really energized, and so definitely consider El Camino College, Kids College, if you're thinking of an alternative. My daughter's going to be doing chess. She does chess every year. She loves it, so it's great. Anyway, I will see you tomorrow. Bye.